So in this video, I will I will discuss how um, Shiny and JavaScript handle data, like communicate with data. So so the R vector, so 1 2 3 4 5. If I print R data, so it's an array. So what Shiny does, so vector R vector 1 2 3 4 5, and when I said print R data, input submit, so the print R data, so it see this R data array, the vector, it convert to the array, it convert in array. If I print two JSON data, which I so R data, and then so I don't need this part. This part is for only data frame. So JSON like to JSON data, um, this is the same to make array. So in the behind the scene, the Shiny convert the vector to array, and list, this is the list 1 2 3 and ABC. If I print a list here, there is an object, as in it says this is the key A, and this is an array key B, this is an array. So this name convert to key, and this is the list convert to, so print JSON, this is so the same. So Shiny take the input, take the list, and then convert to object, and it's use JSON light to JSON function. So and when we use to JSON, so print data to JSON, it do these like key pair value, it object and key value pair. And for data frame, print R data, so print R data, print JSON. So here, so when data frame column, these R data is the same when is to JSON data frame is column. So here this is an object of key value, like this is the key, so it's the same like list. So in that case list, this is the name and this is the value, and this is the name like list, this column basically is a list, so list, and this is the value. So this how get converted to the JavaScript. If and here this is an object, here object mbg is a key and a list and a vector. So that and an object here key value pair. But if I say this is rows, if I say this is rows, and we again, if I say that is So that shows if I print R data, this is before, but if I say column, this is an array. So now these convert this to JSON. Now convert this data frame to an array of object. This is an object, and this bracket mean this last bracket mean this is an array. So this convert array of object. So now I can index like this data dot zero data data 0 data 1 like this. So what does mean if this name is data, then I can add I could access this value, this object like this. And there is other option like values that let me show what that print. Values. Values. So data frame print. This is by default, and these values we don't get the key, so it's the array of array. So this is an array of array, so we can access with the index only value like 0. So this is the row, it's printed row like index 0 1 2 3 4 5, and then array no value name. So this is how things convert to JavaScript. So if I need to send like a list here, a list, so let's see what happened to the list. So if I pass a data like a list, I can pass like different like multiple data to the JavaScript. So in that case I have to make this data as a list. So let's say I send this list, I sent a data like this list, like list A and list B. So on the JavaScript side I can access that like data dot A and data dot B. I can access this data with the key. And that's the JavaScript to R to JavaScript. Now what happened to I sent a like JavaScript. So let's say I have an array like this, array car, and then I print array. So there is a two option here. One print this print input, and another print let's see, let's split this one, run again. So now array print JS data to our console. So when if we say like JSON like to JSON data, so it's to JSON. When we add to JSON, it like add a string, it's as a string, and print data, then it's like this. And check print render print from JSON. Okay, we can go back a little bit here. Okay, let's say we comment out this section. We comment out this section for now. Okay, we comment out this section for now, and do some, and here we don't use to JSON from JSON. And how do we get input? So we print direct data, we print render. Okay, let's see what's happened. So let's see. Okay, let's see what's happening in both cases. So an array, if we print an array, car array object is not, car array JSON is not car array JSON. Okay, I can use only car array here. Car array, car object. Okay, let's shoot. So an array print array. So this is if we say like from JSON, it gives an error because this is not an JSON. So what do we do? We uncomment this and say df is equal to input from JS data. Okay. Now from array, so this is an array. So this is an JavaScript array, not the JSON. So this is an JavaScript array. If I just passed, if I say send to Shiny with this function, send to Shiny, if input value array, input value is equal array, because input value here is, we get this input value because we transfer this send console, like send console as an input value, we receive this as input value data, and here send console was which one? Send console, this one, input with JS data, we pass this value like array object, array of object is value. So this array is just when it sent, we sent as shiny.set input value, we send this, it converted to a vector. So it's the same like we are to array and array to vector. That's a simple, we don't need to do like from JSON to JSON things for vector or list. It Shiny handle that. If I say object, so okay, I guess object, I have an object car object. I have to keep, if object, then I have to keep this an object, right? And then I have to keep this an object. So now array is a array object, it is an object. So I send this object here, I send this object type white model 500 color white, so it gets type white model 500 color white. So this object just directly go to the list. How about the array of object? So array of object, let me check. So array of object, we did not stringify, and this is an array of object here. So let's see what's happened. Array of object. So it's a JSON object is not defined. JSON object is not defined. Let me go back. So we have to send so if we send these, we send these here, and send these here. So if we just directly send these, like say directly send these like array of object, and we don't do say like from, we don't stringify, we don't just on stringify and then do like from JSON something, and then what, this is what we get a named character. And if we do things like and JSON object, so that will stringify this object, and this will stringify this object. Okay, now this will stringify the object, so we get this stringify, and we stringify. Now if we from JSON, if we do like from JSON, and then let's go again one more time, we go from JSON. Now if we print, if we stringify these, and then we say okay, get from this from JSON, and then we can get this data frame, nice data frame. So for the data frame, we need this JSON. If we want to send JavaScript like uh, array of object it will send as a array of object will send as a like data frame with this technique like stringify and then from JSON. So how about we send these as a stringify. This is an object, name object, and this is what so if we select data frame and print JSON, in this case it's only print the row, so we set as a print data. Into JSON. To okay. So if we set as a option like column, that's by default. We get this one. We get array of objects. So this is an array. This is an uh, the object of array. So it is an object. So by default it is column. And if we send this back, if we send this back, let's see what we get. Let's say we set this as a data frame row, and then so by default these we can get the column and then set rows. It will give another one. And we will send these we will send these. Okay, we'll see what we get now. So now for the object, print object, now what we get is a list. Because object always converted to the list. That's how this works. Object always gets to the list. If we, since this is an object, and if we don't stringify, let's see what's happening. This object, if we don't just stringify, we just say from JSON. We might get, it's not JSON, so let's just say it like this. In that case we get a list, very big list, like so. To display 1, display 2, we get a list like display, and then 6 list for everything. which maybe we don't want. So it's a list of list. So this is it. So in that case we get this, and if we stringify JSON object and we say from JSON, we can get this like exact like a list, and this is the value like vector as an like array as an vector. Okay. So object, so few things. So I'll do more testing. So overall what's happening in summary. So when R send data like vector convert to array, a list convert to object, and data frame depends on setting. So there are like two setting, I guess. To JSON print JSON to different one print to JSON data. Our data, so our data tf and to JSON data frame, row columns, rows columns and values. Yeah, okay. So so in summary